Hi guys, this is Mike from your host at Craft Beer Storm and also founder and brewer at Bear Brewing Company in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We just turned 4 this past weekend, 4 years old. We made it. Unbelievable. Man, it's a roller coaster, but it's all good stuff. We also had our a fundraiser on Sunday for the American Cancer Society. So if you didn't make it, or if you're not in the area, please go on their website and donate to them. They're fantastic. It's a horrible thing that affects a lot of families and a lot of people, but do whatever we can to help them out. But this is your installment for Craft Beer News of Beer Styles, and this week we're going to talk about honey beer. And honey beers incorporate honey as a fermentable sugar in addition to the malted barley. So, like for fermentation, when the beer is eventually in the fermentation tank, it has a lot of sugar, and the yeast eats through that. And then when you add honey in, that's even more sugar that the yeast loves and eats through that as well, and it produces alcohol and CO2, which comes out. The alcohol stays in. To get sugar out of grain, you have to heat water up to a certain temperature, add the grain in. Usually this is in the mash tun. And then what happens is the heat from the water converts the starch to sugar. And take that sugar water, boil it down, add the hops in, then transfer to the fermenter. And that's where the yeast does its magic and creates the alcohol and CO2. And honey just adds to that, and it gives an awesome taste. Honey's delicious. But in the honey beer, honey character should be evident in the aroma and flavor, but should not be overpowering. So, according to the GABF guidelines for styles, we make a Castletown honey brown at Bear Brewing Company. I got to resurrect that thing. I haven't made it in a while, but everybody likes it, and I'm doing it again. It'll be out early 2018. And what that is a Northern English style brown ale with local honey from CB Honey, actually in Rye, New Hampshire. And we interviewed Joe Martilla, who is the founder, and he's the beekeeper. And we interviewed him on Craft Beer Storm on podcast episode number 3. So you can go back to that and you can check it out and see what he knows everything about bees and honey. It's ridiculous. It's just, he's the authority. So check out that episode. You'll just find a lot of information. Now for honey beer, the color of honey beer should be very light to black, depending on the underlying style. So there could be a number of different styles, base styles for the beer, light, maybe an IPA, a pale ale, or it could be dark, like what we do is like a honey brown, could be a stout, right? Add honey into it, a honey stout. Clarity, could be clear to hazy is fine. Hop aroma, flavor and bitterness, it could be very low to very high in terms of the hop aroma and bitterness, but you don't want to overshadow the honey. The honey should come through the aroma and taste. So you just got to be careful regarding hop aroma and bitterness. And the bodies according to whatever style you're using as your base beer. The ABV on these could be very low for a honey beer. It could be like 2.5%, all the way up to 12%. For a honey beer. Anything more than that probably be considered mead. And if you know what mead is mead is like a honey wine. It's the oldest alcoholic drinks known to man. It's very ancient, and it's made from honey and water, and then they add yeast to it, and that makes the fermentation that creates the alcohol. And then meads, the alcohol content for those should be about 3.5% ABV, and you can get up to more than 20%. But I've seen the meads I've seen usually a higher ABV, so they're like in the teens, maybe low teens. So that's your mead. So you just got to be careful in terms of the amount of honey you add to it. They could, or your local liquor commission could consider it a mead. But need that honey's taste coming through. But honey's delicious, like I said. Glassware, what to serve it in. Serve it in a pint glass, or like a Belgian style glass if you want the aroma to come out. Those are two great pieces of glassware to serve it in. And according to Beer Advocate, we're looking at some of the popular honey beers that are out there. And one of them is the original Honey Brown Extra Rich Lager from Genesee Brewing Company and Dundee Brewing Company. I guess Dundee's a subsidiary of Genesee. And for the original Honey Brown Lager, the ABV was about 4.5%. And the IBU is very low. It's 10. So IBU, International Bitterness Units, from 1 to 100, 1 being, no bitterness at all, pretty much. And then 100 is like super bitter. It's top of the scale. So it's a low bitterness on that Honey Brown Lager. And actually it was a Gold Award winner for the 2004 World Beer Cup. So it says it's a special honey lager or ale category. That's the where it won in. This lager is brewed with pure clover honey, and it has a golden color and a distinctive clover-like sweetness. So there you go. You make and it's a lager, right? It's not an ale, which is a lighter beer, and that depends on the yeast that you use for lagers and ales. But the honey comes through. And the next two are from Sam Adams. Actually, the Sam Adams Honey Porter, which is from the Boston Beer Company. In here we have a new beer coming to the 2018 limited release series. So they're going to resurrect this, I guess, and send it out in 2018 on a limited basis. The Honey Porter is an English-style porter brewed with New England honey and traditional English ale hops. Sounds good. Beer will roll in at 5.5% ABV, and it's probably going to be in a 750 milliliter bottle. So it'll be a limited release, but that should be good, Honey Porter. Next one is Sam Adams Honey Queen, which is Boston Beer Company as well. And the Honey Queen is it's a braggot, right? It's not a beer. It's kind of a combination mead and beer. So braggot is a form of mead made with both honey and barley malt, so you get sugar from the barley and you also get sugar from the honey as well, but there's just higher concentrations of each. But it typically uses about 1/3 or more malt, and may have as much as 50% malt. So it's kind of combination mead and beer. And for that Honey Queen, the ABV is about 7.5%, so it's a little up there, higher than normal, but still a nice ABV. And the description of it is it's a braggot ale brewed with honey, chamomile, and natural flavors. So that might be a nice one as well. And we also have Bear Brewing Company, which is our Castletown Honey Brown, which I'm resurrecting, and that's a 5.8 ABV. That should be out in early 2018. So that's that's your honey beer, right? It's you have many different styles that you can use. You just add the honey in, and it produces a delicious beer. So go out there and find some and get some and try it, or come on in if you're in the Portsmouth area. Now, guys, if you like what we're doing, you like these episodes. Actually, these the beer style episodes are doing very well. I don't know. I wouldn't think they were the top downloads, but they're doing very well. So it's good, I guess, to educate people on beer. And there's more to just IPAs, guys. It's just there's lagers, there's IPAs, but there's just so many more different styles of beer that you really should get out and try. Go to your local brewery, local tap room, and order a flight. Order a sample of each and try it. You might find your next favorite beer. So get out there. But if you like what we're doing, you like the podcast, please, it helps us if you go on iTunes, leave a review, subscribe to the podcast, give us a rating. iTunes sees that. They have algorithms, and it gets us ranked up in the in the category of beer podcasts, which is awesome. And then that gets us out there even more, create some more attention, and we can preach the gospel of local craft beer. And there is an alternative to watered down mass-produced beer, and that's local, delicious craft beer. So that's your honey beer for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode. But we're putting these episodes out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Monday is our interview, usually with a with a brewer or somebody in the beer industry. And Wednesdays, like today, is beer styles, and then Fridays are craft brew news. So we're getting a lot of beer information out to you guys. You're a one-stop shop here. So subscribe. You'll get all the beer information you need. If you have feedback, please contact me. I'm Michael@craftbeerstorm.com. Send me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you. And like I said, if you're in the Portsmouth area, come on in. We're in 2800 Lafayette Road in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Glorious Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Okay, guys, until next time.